Hi, let's have a bit of a boating chat, plastic models included. The last thing I did yesterday, and I guess it would be dry, is I've put in some silicone sealer into there and there, and I've put the shaft in and put silicone sealer in the shaft in the outside as I turned it in, and then just tried to make sure that water won't get in there. I mean, we hope for the best. I've glued this piece in, and I can take that off, unscrew it. I've been thinking about fitting the rest of the rudder, the keel which holds that bit of the rudder. But anyway, let's get to a little bit of plastic chat, because I got 4 ship models. Now, I don't have any aircraft carriers, and this is as good as any to get. I didn't have a particular reason for getting this one other than it was available in a sort of a set of models being sold off. Obviously the Ark Royal is very famous. This model is, not a very complicated or difficult one. I mean, there's enough parts in there, but as always with ships, so I guess that'll be not a bad aircraft carrier. Actually, I lie, I do have an aircraft carrier, but it hasn't been finished, and I can't remember what it is. It could be the Dwight D. Eisenhower, because I sort of lost interest in it long ago. So anyway, that's, there's a little bit of stuff on the outside. There's various holes and openings which makes it look interesting, and then there's a few aircraft. Now those aircraft, actually, I just want to have a look. I just wanted to see the moldings. Are they even in here? Yes, they are. Okay, they are very... So there's the swordfish, and what is that? Hurricanes? Little sea hurricanes. So that'll be interesting. Not sure when I'll tackle this, but I do like looking at variety, and I certainly haven't been getting to a whole lot of shipping. Let's get this one off my lap as well. This smaller Titanic, because I've got another bigger one, but this one at least allows one to build one reasonably fast, and this is likely to be one that I actually get to soon. When I say soon, sooner than many of the other ships, but not necessarily soon this year. And it's got, it's got enough, but it's not, it doesn't tire you out like some of the ship models with a gazillion tiny little parts. So actually that might be quite a good one. Now that has just sort of got tiny little dots molded for the windows, so there's nothing really to be done there. So I actually think that'll be quite a good one. I know it's a little bit odd that it's 800th, which means it doesn't quite go well next to the 700th and 600th scale stuff, but tough luck the scales are all over the show. I do like that. That'll be something nice. This river boat, I don't have the pieces here, but this is 33 centimeters long, which means it is just about as long as this box, and that's something completely out of the ordinary. I have not done one, and I think that'll look pretty cool. It's a very wide boat, so the model, the pieces, the width of the boat is about that. So it's a, you know, there's a lot that you can do there. And I've had a brief look at the model, and it's you know, it's obviously not the highest of quality, but I think it will be an interesting model. And not a very easy one. But I think that's quite cool. So that's something totally different. And then the last one, a very nice one, and possibly the longest and slimmest Airfix box that you get. Now, I don't think I've ever built a civilian liner, and this will be absolutely amazing. That is a very beautiful and classic looking ship, and this is a big model. Now it doesn't have a gazillion parts in the box, which is actually quite good. So this can be built probably almost as fast as that small Titanic. Now that one I'm actually very glad about. As you can see, there not a whole lot else in the box. Nice detail on there. Now I think that this is the sort of boat I'd probably want in waterline rather than full hull. But I guess for structural rigidity I won't go and cut that off. I will keep it as full hull, but then embed it in a styrofoam cutout sea diorama, rather than just make it a flat. But waterline looks very good for that. So all the detail in this is sort of all in those fine windows, all the little black windows. It's got all those lifeboats, but essentially after you've built the hull and put that superstructure on, it's really just about getting the effect of the windows and the boats, and there's not a whole lot more. Okay, there is some rigging there on that mast and the back one, but that I'm liking very, very much. That sort of goes up near the top of my list of models that I'd really like to get done. This Titanic again. Yeah, I mean, this is a nice sort of model in that it's quite achievable. It's small. It's not a huge amount of gluing. The parts are not overly delicate, or even the small parts are quite acceptable. That's not a bad build. So there we go, 4 interesting boats. This is the HDML plan I was talking about, Harbour Defence Motor Launch, which looks like that. Now obviously I will probably quite soon go and transfer this onto white paper and better paper rather than actually build on this. And not only that, you sort of have a back and a front. But again, as I did say, I'm keen for the analysis point of view. I like looking at it and planning out. It's not to say that I'm actually intending to get to this very soon, but I do like that. Now, for instance, those Oerlikons, I'd sort of have to think about how I'd approach that. A lot of the things are somewhat standard, but how would I build very good looking Oerlikons with, you know, a bit of brass tube, and you know, those models would be substantial models just on their own, and you have to get them looking very good, otherwise your whole boat doesn't really, you know, it doesn't carry that same sort of effect. Got a bit of sirens going on in the background. So two very nice Oerlikons, a planked hull, but as I was saying, the other option is this one. On the front of this boat magazine, they have just got the 135th Italeri kit, which is a motor torpedo boat. Also very nice looking thing, which someone has made it radio control. But there's the tanker that I'm talking about. I'll just show you that, and I'll tell you the name of it. There's the plan. That tanker is called where's that part? Oh, there's that one, actually very nice. This boat magazine is a very, very good magazine. The Empire Campden 1/75th scale World War II tanker, plans that they've supplied here. Just looking to see if I can see its tonnage very quickly off the bat. I can't remember now, but anyway, okay, so there it is, the Empire Campden. So you know, it's a ship as opposed to a smaller boat, but it's not a very big ship at all. And a very common one in World War II, but obvious. Okay, 890 tons, breadth 32 feet, 1 4-cylinder 2-stroke British Polar diesel engine, 640 horsepower. So yeah, it's actually quite a small ship as ships go, but a very interesting looking one, and I'll show you this plan and you'll probably see why I like it. This very, very thin paper. I'd have to get this transferred as well. So give me your opinions. Just, you know, it's not to say I am going to build it, but between the HDML versus this one, the more substantial ship, but both models will be built to almost the same size, which is basically what I'm holding up here, which is less than a meter. So you've got the, let's see if I can just give a better view of that. I am tilted myself towards this ship, the Empire Campton, and I probably would not change the scale from what's offered here, but since one's starting from scratch, there's no particular reason to hold to that. One can do it a bit larger. And you can, if you're mildly interested in that, you can go and Google or Wikipedia actually the Empire Campton. So that's just something I'm looking at in the sort of planning stages, but obviously the building stages. It is the Marina and the Escampavia Pilar. I have looked for that ship so much on the internet, and I cannot find anything other than the model itself. I cannot find anything on the actual, which is apparently a Spanish revenue cutter, because at that point, if I understand correctly, in the American Civil War, they were charging port fees, and so the Spanish also started with that. So that sort of, this, 1865, the Spanish were then using these boats amongst others. They started earlier with non-steamboats, but I can't find anything. And I'm wondering if it was, was it an absolutely low production, like maybe only one was ever made? Maybe it was used for such a brief time, but I can't find anything. Right, what have I done? I did put a new plug onto the battery charger to be able to charge these. Oh, I realized that, and where have I put it now, that this BEC battery eliminator circuit covers the second servo. So your speed control is controlled by this, not by a servo. And it cuts out the requirement for a receiver battery. So I think I'm sort of, there'll be that receiver. I just need to get batteries and put everything together. I don't know where this backing is, unfortunately, but a little ACOMS 2 channel, 27 megahertz, simple enough, which looks quite new. I can't remember if that was the one that was bought for this. The single servo which goes in on the rudder, and then just connecting up all those bits. Just need to make sure everything works nicely, but we are slowly getting there. Okay, that's just a bit of a quick talk about some various plastic models. There was a new wheelie yellow video that I just saw this morning. And as soon as the Marina is actually really looking like it's in its final stages, I will also, as I said, be doing the wheelie yellow before we get to much else. His second build is looking very, very battered by now. Okay, happy modeling everyone. Cheers.